time. It is now finished. I pray in the name of Jesus, we arrest you right now and command you to come out and out of
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, Down the Rabbit Hole News. I am the Rabbit. Listen, yesterday we did a video where we covered a very kind of bizarre, interesting story of an actress by the name of Chanel Banks. Now, to give you the TLDR of the situation is Chanel Banks is a 36-year-old actress. She's been seen on Gossip Girl. She's been seen in Blues Bloods. I'm not too familiar with her. Apparently some folks are, okay? I think she's fairly new to the scene, but she's newly married as well, okay? So Chanel Banks' family comes forward and basically says that Chanel Banks is missing, okay? Now, Chanel Banks has a cousin who's like from Toronto who flew to the States to help Chanel Banks' mom kind of sort the situation out with Chanel Banks. So they start printing these missing poster flyers all over the place. So they go to Chanel's house and the husband's residence to try to, see about Chanel. And the husband is not necessarily being cooperative because the husband's telling them that Chanel's not missing. Chanel's fine. Well, Chanel's mother and Chanel's cousin, Danielle, they're still running with the story. They hold this press conference. Well, Chanel Banks comes forward and does an interview, which dropped Friday, and basically said that she was trying to get out of a really bad situation. And it was familial wise. She disclosed some information about her family and basically said that these two women specifically, she's trying to get away from, right?
I had to take myself out of a bad situation, and I'm sure a lot of people can relate to that. And what transpired from that is what you are seeing in the media now, specifically from the people I've gotten away from. You're seeing two people right now, my mother and my cousin, whom I have not spoken to for 10 years. I spoke to her one time when she was with my mother on the phone, and that must have been 3 weeks ago, very briefly. And my mom gave her my cell phone. And I think she sent me a text once, but this is not someone I have a relationship with. We definitely don't have a sister-sister relationship. It wasn't until most recently that I was successful in leaving. And what's transpired is exactly that, her reaction to not having that control.
Law enforcement confirmed that this is Chanel Banks. Well, Chanel Banks' family says that's not Chanel. They hold another press conference and basically tell the media that they're not convinced that that's Chanel. Okay, well, more information has come out about the situation, and we're going to get right into it. Initially, Chanel Banks' family, mom and cousin, basically said that she was missing, that the person who said was Chanel is not Chanel. They've come forward and basically said that Chanel has been brainwashed by a Christian cult. Chanel has been found safe in Texas. This was on Monday. She does her interview on Friday. She was fleeing from her family and she wanted to be baptized by a doomsday pastor by the name of Robert Clancy, who recently advertised a 3-day end of times gathering in Texas and claimed that her family had abused her. Chanel Banks' family is adamant that she's being held against her will by this Christian group. Now, again, Chanel Banks is married. The husband hasn't really said anything about this as far as like if he's concerned about Chanel's safety. If anything, Chanel's family has put some allegations or at least alluded that, there was something sketchy about Chanel's husband. Now, in the last, I want to say 17 hours or so, there was another press conference that Chanel Banks' family held, basically letting people know that she was being held by a cult, that doomsday cult, and that she had been, I guess, a little bit brainwashed. I guess that's what they're calling it. Let me play that press conference right now.
False. Absolutely fault. If she was abused by her family, first of all, my grandmother would never allow that. There are no police reports anywhere. If she had bruises on her, and they say that it happened 14, how many years ago, and she was a school-age child at the time, wouldn't teachers or social workers or therapists or whoever, because she's always was involved in extracurriculars outside of school too. So why wouldn't have anybody? There's not one report on that. There's nobody to confirm that that claim is true.
So do you think she's being brainwashed by this group?
I do believe so. I want to, and I know my cousin, and I know she's a very smart girl. So what I can tell you regarding that is, I've sent out and I've posted the YouTube church video where we did identify her from. You notice that everybody is sitting down or standing up. Why does Chanel make the people to talk and scream? She's a smart girl. She knew they were recording. She knew it was live posted to YouTube, and maybe that was her way of showing the world, hey, I'm here. I can't get out. They have my phone. We're not allowed technology because we're supposed to grow closer to God.
These are just some more details that we're finding out. You know, Chanel is still standing up and saying that she was abused by family and she's been trying to get away. And it sounds like she had been trying to get away from this family before. But the family is adamant that that's not the case. They're discrediting each other. The husband, I don't know if he's like in support of Chanel joining this cult. Does Chanel see this as a cult? I guess that's my question. And here's some more footage from what the family was able to capture. This is how they knew that Chanel was like in this cult.
Your time is up. Your time is up. It is now finished. I pray in the name of Jesus, we arrest you right now and command you to come out and out
I mean, clearly the footage is concerning, but let me just say this, right? From what I've gathered, Chanel does not have any children in this cult. And I think that this is the scary part for any family. If this is really the case, like, is this a situation where Chanel's just trying to get away from these people? And by her getting away, she's also making the decision to join what looks to be like a cult? I don't know. Or is this a situation where the family's really concerned and they'll say just about anything to try to help Chanel? This very much reminds me of the situation with Shelly Miscavige, right? Where there are people out there who believe that, you know, Shelly is missing, Shelly is no longer here, or Shelly is choosing to stay gone. One of my favorite people in the ex Scientology community that I like to listen to, because, you know, Serge Delmar's stance is no more kids in Scientology. If adults are wanting to join destructive cults, what do you do about things like that? Now, if adults are joining destructive cults and bringing their children to these cults, does that change the tone a little bit different? Kids can't consent to a lot of the things that they are put through in these cults, but adults can. Chanel Banks can consent to be part of this doomsday cult, as they call it. Is it dangerous? Absolutely. And if you guys in the chat have ever been in a situation where, like, you're trying to help a family member out of a situation like this, or you have a loved one that's in a cult, which a lot of people do. Like, we have a lot of people in the ex-Scientology community whose parents are still caught in this damn cult, and they're trying to get them out and they can't. Like, what do you do in such situations? The helplessness in this is huge. So I can see the other side of, like, the family being so concerned that they're willing to say anything and everything to police, hold these press conferences, do what they have to do to get Chanel Banks out of this. At the same time, her husband doesn't seem to be too worried about it. I mean, he might also be a member of this cult. He might also support the disconnection of families. I'm not really sure. But if Chanel Banks is also making that decision to join this and disassociate and disconnect. Like, where do you guys stand? Is that allowed? The other thing too that I couldn't help but wonder, and a lot of people when we were doing our video yesterday, were talking about, it sounds like the family's pushing for like some level of conservatorship. I definitely felt like this family of Chanel's is like controlling a lot. It just gave me that vibe that they're very controlling, that mom is very in your business. I mean, they went as far as to break into the husband's apartment. Like, that's too much. You know what I mean? Like, but if you believe that he did something to her, I guess where do you stand with that? All of these clips are very concerning, all of them. And I truly hope that it is not the case that Chanel Banks has like joined this cult and doesn't do anything stupid in the cult, if that makes sense. She strikes as somebody who understands a little bit about what's going on. Does she see her group as a cult? I'm not really sure. But at the same time, she's not a child, you guys. She's 36 years old and she's a married woman. There's that. What do y'all think about this? And also, I mean, I find like either side just very troubling and very concerning. But have you ever been in a situation like Chanel's family? Or have you ever been like Chanel, where you're trying to get away from these people, whether you're trying to join a cult? I mean, what is your right as an adult in a situation like this? Just wanted to ask you guys those questions and maybe dig into this a little bit deeper. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. I'll see you guys on the next one. Rabbits out. Bye, guys.